I'm so surprised at the angle Lekia is coming from. So I was just looking at her. I was in shock. I'm wondering how a political party like the NPP will put themselves in a certain fix and expose their crass hypocrisy to the population. What exactly do they want to talk about? They want to tell us the real state of the nation and let us know how they were able to take 50 million Ghana cedis every month at the expense of developmental projects in this country. How they sat aloof and did not conduct a head count over NSS personnel that a whooping 80,000, it is not one or two, 80,000 people. And one of the painful instances is how in one university, over 263 people will bear the same name from the same department. But the said institution said they have not even admitted that number of persons in that faculty with that same name. How a 93-year-old man will be on that scheme. How somebody could use a SNET identity card to enroll when the system only admits the National Identification Authority's card. When the scheme's trajectory sets on the path that if you are 40, you can be waived of it. So why do we have 93 years, 60, 80? So they want to mount a podium tomorrow or whichever day they want to.
Today,
and
sorry.
tell today.
Today at 1.
Okay, we will be waiting for them.
The MPP.
They want to mount a podium today.
This
and tell Ghanaians that over 80,000 personnel.
You're presenting your state of the nation.
Yeah. No, not our state of the nation.
Their state of the nation. I'm telling you the things that should reflect in their true states of the nation. So their appointees sat aloof, presented figures always to them to pay 150,000 to the tune of 180,000 people when the people that were on the scheme were not even up to 90,000. Over 80,000 difference. So I'm expecting that the true state of the nation, they will mount a podium to tell us, will tell us exactly how the $50 million, the 50 million cedis every month that the NSS payment fraud accrued was used. If they fail to do that, then hypocrisy is really an understatement of an adjective to describe who the MPP truly is. And so, away from that, Annie, the whole State of the Nation's address, my overview or general impressions of the show. One key thing that His Excellency is doing now is to walk the talk. A majority of the state's programs he's attended, he's won things that are made in Ghana. And if you notice the direction of his fiscal policy and spending, and recouping whatever we have lost over the years and reviving the economy, he seeks to do that with local production, manufacturing, and adding value to the things that we create and manufacture in this country. So he wore smock, a beautiful outfit to that day. And then you see 2 men and 2 women, gender equality, gender equity, balance at play on that day. And so I think it's a positive step. And then one thing we should also know once we are in the International Women's Week is that aspect of the affirmative action bill to actually get 30% of his appointees being women, he will work to achieve that and even more, which he promised in the address. Now, fiscal policy. It is very surprising that this morning we will hear that the MPP paid the haircuts people the monies that they owe them, and where did the monies come from? Why did they stop paying their maturing bonds in the first place? Because for once in this country, growing up as a young person, I have never seen old people move in their wheelchairs and their walking sticks with chairs to go sit at a ministry and picket because of their monies that have not been paid to them. And we found even a former Attorney General, a former Minister for Justice on that ticket, picketing as well. And so if we are asked today that after giving you the haircuts, at a certain point, we paid a certain minute aspect, then they are not entirely being factual. So what President sought to do on that floor? It's simple. Abna Osei-Asare mentions key things. I would want to link that to the solutions the President preferred. One, she says that depositors' funds were protected. The question I ask, is it true or false? People who found themselves in the various banking sector cleanup exercises, is every individual having their monies? That is factually false. Some people
still have people who have not received their money.
Some people have still not received their money.
Some of us have actually come to our offices asking us to ask the finance ministry where the money is, because they always say that they've given them the money. They go to Parliament, and in fact, the former finance minister went to Parliament to confirm that they have released the monies to depositors. So they are wondering where the money is, because they have not received their monies yet. Actually.
And the DDEP, Eurobond holders, maturity payments that they rescheduled. If she says they paid a certain tune, the question I want to ask is that, why are people being paid now and they are all there jubilating? You recall one of our natives in the diaspora who built a school in the central region, complained massively of his funds. And when this news was given, he quickly came out to actually say kudos to the president. One thing is that the sinking fund, which is the account we use to service our debts, we call it the public service account, public debt service account. And so what that account seeks to do is that it is what we use to pay our debts over the periods. And so President Mahama leaves the 250 million in there for you. And you leave 64,000 and leave a debt without leaving a leeway for $64,000. Somebody left $250 million and you leave 64,000. When bonds have matured and we have to pay them, how are we supposed to do that? And so the president clearly addresses this issue. If Akia says that she didn't hear any solutions being preferred, the president says that he has instructed for a buffer to be created in the sinking fund to pay them now, and even those that will be matured in July and August. That is the solution. And we come to that aspect where Abna Osei-Asare says that NDC's approach of high government spending. I ask, what is the approach? What is the high government spending? The president, in delivering the fiscal policy measures that he's put in place, he mentioned streamlining the size of government. At a point in the MPP administration, they have around 125 ministers. Now it is down to 60 ministers. And do you know what that does for the economy and prudent fiscal policy? It means that we are cutting down on the expenditure of what these extra 65 people would have spent. And so if you are even making about 10 million cedis save every year by cutting down just the size of ministers, multiply that by 4 years, how much are we accruing? That is a good fiscal policy product. And the president also mentioned that we are going to do this national economic dialogue, and I'm surprised that stakeholder engagement is now becoming a problem, because it is no wonder that they boycotted the Century Forum. And the NPP, as typical of them, they maintain this posture of knowing it all and forcing everything down our throats. But just as the local adage says, to crown Kwejina, and Yansan said, "Any Akufo Itirum." There are people who are well versed in the sector. That is the economy. And so if we are building the Ghana that we all want, which is the mantra, Annie, government can give a certain directive. But if the population do not buy into your idea, they will not comply.